Oh, good.
We're going chasing.
Hello there, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Hello, now, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Now, we have a lot on the agenda, lads, so we'll cut the chase and get straight down to the business.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of We're Going Chasing. Killian, we've got our Antepost Christmas preview today. We were looking at over the last couple of days thinking whether we do one or not. We've decided to run through the races briefly enough. We've got 12 races that are priced up for Christmas at the moment. It's a mix of Ascot just before Christmas, Leopardstown, Kempton, Limerick, and of course the Welsh National at Chepstow. What are your own plans for Christmas in terms of racing, Killian?
I'd say I'd go to Leopardstown in a couple of days, probably the 28th, the 29th. I'd say them 2 days. I won't stir Stevens' day anyway. There's enough on that day. And then like 27th is not as good as the 28th, so I probably won't leave till 28th. 28th Savage Day, though. I was there, I think, the last couple of years as well, and the Savills and the Jack to Bromhead on that day, and then the Faugheen's down in Limerick as well, so you get that on the television. See Gaelic Warrior hold up.
Move from the 26th, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was always, was it last year? This is the first year it's moved. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah. I think last year was the 26th anyway.
Yeah. It's
for
just the first year we're getting the Faugheen
Jerry Speed plundered it.
On the 28th. I'll probably go the 28th to 29th myself as well. Traditionally, I always went, the Savills would have been my main day, and then I'd usually add in the 29th after it. I could have other commitments on the 28th, so we'll see what way that pans out. But I definitely like to get there for that day if I could, and another day along with it. I agree. It's stuff, racing, soccer, rugby, the whole lot. It's all too good on Stevens' day to be moving from the couch.
Yeah, NFL, there'd be NFL or NBA on as well. Like you'd get that
be on
evening,
too?
yeah, bit of Harry Potter or something.
Stay away from that. Jeez, if you're watching Harry Potter on Stevens' day, there's something seriously wrong.
You could offend a lot of people now by saying that.
Yeah, well, there is something seriously wrong. If you want to be a bit of a nerd and watch it there on Christmas Day, work away, be my guest. But by all means, there should be nothing on apart from sport on Stevens' Day. And if there is something else on, you've got your priorities all wrong.
Yeah,
and that goes for the viewers
I'll
too.
I'll be in the fucking boozer anyway. So
yeah, well, yeah, I won't start from the couch.
No.
I won't go out to the boozer. No.
So
Someone
has to.
Too much on. It's a business day. But look, we'll get into it. Killian, the first race on our list there is where is that gone?
The Long Walk.
The Long Walk Hurdle, correct. So we've got West Balboa top of the market 4-1, Paisley Park 6-1, Champ about 5-1, 3-1 in places, Dashel Drasher there as well. Is it a race that excites you, or how do you feel about it?
Yeah, the 3 mile stay in division in England really excites me. What sort of a question is that like? No, it's pure and utter scour. I'd say if Irish Point went over to it, he'd win it. I don't know if he's going to or not, but like they're all going to beat each other, and they're all fairly shite. West Balboa is progressive, like, but we don't know how good she is either. She could easily take the step up and beat Dashel Drasher and Paisley Park and Champ. I don't know. Crambo was beaten in a handicap the last day. Yeah. Botox has, I don't know. None of them excite me. Like,
yeah, one excites me. Paisley Park. I just love them.
I love geriatrics.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I love them. Like, I thought the run at Newbury was very good, all things considered. You know, he had to give £6 there to Dashel Drasher, who should hopefully come on for it. Won this race last year. It was at Kempton. And yeah, I just think 6-1 is probably a fair enough price at the moment. Had him up at 8-1 each way actually at Newbury, so the each way money landed. I couldn't see 2 horses beating him. So 6-1 I reckon is probably a fair enough price. Will you get better on the day? You probably won't.
It depends what shows up.
Yeah, it does, but I don't know if you look at the top of them in the market, and that I couldn't see Paisley Park going much bigger than 6-1, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd see West Balboa being punted, maybe, because being unexposed, and obviously stepping into grade ones. But
Yeah,
no,
as it is, Bet365 and Paddy Power are 4s, Sky Bet are 5s, William Hill are 6s along with Unibet. But that's Paisley Park each way. Anyway, I think it'd be an each way bet to nothing anyway, if nothing else. The second race we're looking at, Killian, is the Betfair Exchange Trophy. Top of the betting here, we've got Ibercolard, Imposed Trois, Only a Matter of Time, Hansard. Not a race now I've really looked at, to be honest. Not one I'm going to get into until declarations are made and whatnot. But do you have any opinions on it yourself?
yeah, the two JP horses at the top, Ibercolor, the one the Great Wooden Imposed 12-1 at Cheltenham in November meeting as well. They're both 5-year-olds, progressive horses. I assume only one of them has run. I'd be backing whichever one runs. They're both trained by Nicky Henderson, so but both of them are definitely better than their current marks. I think Ibercolor is 135, the other lads 131. They're both probably mid 140s horses anyway, I suppose. So I'd say whichever one of them runs, I'd be backing. I don't know if anyone has a steer in Nicky Henderson's yard or in Frank Berry's ear, but yeah, whichever one of them runs, I'd say I'll win it.
Okay, I'll look into it myself in more detail in due course. But Killian, just before we move on to the Silver Cup Handicap Chase, do you remember to click record on this? Because I don't remember coming up on the screen.
I did, yeah.
You did, for definite.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
It's recording. It's up the top corner here.
Okay, good man. We'll move on to the Silver Cup Handicap Chase. Midnight River tops the market here at 8-1, and I don't think that there's a need to look beyond him, to be honest, Killian. That's how I feel. He was going very well the last day when he came down in the Hennessy. A funny fall, he was jumping superbly the whole way around, I felt. And I don't know, the feet seemed to come from underneath him or that. I'd be expecting a very big run again. I think he's too classy for his mark really at the moment. He's definitely got a race in him off 156. He was really well set up for the Hennessy at Newbury and just unlucky. I thought that run of Weatherby was putting him bang there. So it's disappointed to see him come down and not even see what he had under the bonnet. But he'd be one that I'd really like for the Hennessy for the Silver Trophy at 8-1. I don't know, what do you think? Probably no mad rush, is there?
I wouldn't say so. No. One I sort of looked at. I liked him for the Paddy Power Angel's Breath. He had a good prep run over hurdles before the Paddy Power. Didn't really go right for him. He never really travelled with much zest. His jumping was poor enough, to be honest. But they've dropped him £5. He's bet 31 lengths. He was 7th. They've dropped him £5. I know he's a 10-year-old, but I would have thought that was a bit lenient. Like they gave him a lot of rope there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he ran a big race. Maybe he might bounce back. He's 16s and 20s there, but no, I wouldn't. I do agree. There's Midnight River probably isn't done yet, but
yeah.
Is he? I wouldn't even know if he's definite to running it. Like there's the race in Cheltenham on New Year's Day as well. And there's I don't know, is he in the December Gold Cup at Cheltenham? But there's plenty of them races for him.
Yeah, there is. Our English followers might let us know about some of these English horses that we're talking about. We just mightn't be fully sure of their intended targets and that. But by all means, if we're talking about one for a race and it's not an intended run, you may let us know. But I would like Midnight River if he turned up here. We'll move on to Leopardstown, Killian, on the 26th. The Racing Post Novice Chase, Facile Vega, top of the market, 4-7, 2-5 in places. Ilete Tom, 7-1. Mr. Policeman, 6-7-1 as well. Blood Destiny, you know, they may as well run this in class something almost. You have to go 5 down in the market to find the 50. And then you're back to cliff something again with Gaelic Warrior. Now, obviously, they won't all be running, and Gaelic Warrior is going to Limerick. But is it as straightforward as Facile Vega just goes and wins?
Maybe. I think there was a lot to like about Ilete Tomps the last day and Thurles. I would have said, I'd say on ratings there isn't a lot between that and Facile Vega as beginner's chase. To be honest, but I don't know if you have them to hand, but
I don't think there. I was looking at it earlier on. I think Ileta Toms was 153 racing post rating, and Facile Vega was 155.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said
So
there was much in it, but yeah, Facile Vega will obviously be the stable number one, and they generally don't want him to get beat. So yeah, I'd say if it's anything like the race at Christmas last year that he won the Grade 1, it was a bit of a non-event. They let him off, and it was sort of playing for places.
yeah. Now, he performed very well twice at Leopardstown. Now Ileta Toms, like he was second to Facile Vega that day, and
Yeah,
then
and he
hammered
wasn't given
Facile
much of a
Vega
race,
and in the pocket the whole lot of them in the Dublin Racing Festival. It
Yeah.
was a bit of a funny race. But he clearly likes it around Leopardstown, and at 7-1, he could be an each way play there. If he didn't fancy the
But sure, you can
price.
bet 3 here on the each way, at sevens, and sure, you're probably only going to get 5 runners. Like looking down at there, like Imagine form of that Grade 2 isn't anything hectic. American Mike's going to Limerick. Quilixios, no. Sharjah, no. Let's be clear about it, no. Dr. Bravo, my mate Mozzie is 33. He's there with Bet365. He won over in Cheltenham very easily. He's probably not a Grade 1 horse, but sure, if there's 5 or 6 in it and you've Mozzie at 33s each way, like you're probably sitting on you only have to beat 3 of them. He'll probably be ridden to place anyway. Ileta Toms, though, I think is probably you're gonna have a shot at him at sevens there with powers and 3 places. He won't be out with the first 3 in my eyes from what I saw him the first day.
Yeah, I'd fully agree with you there, Killian, and you'd fully expect him to be turning up here too.
Well, he won't go to Limerick, so.
No, it'd be a shock if he wasn't here.
Yeah, unless he gets injured, that's the reason he won't run here.
An injury would all that would keep him away. So Ileta Toms each way, Facile Vega probably wins, but we're both in agreement there. We'll move over to the King George Chase, Killian. We've got Jerry Cologne top of the market, 11-4, backed in from 10-1 there a week or two ago. Braveman's Game, 11-4, Allaho, 5-1, Shishkin, 8-1. He might be running over hurdles at Newcastle this weekend, so that's one to keep an eye on, see what Nicky does there. Press as well, Royal Pagai, the real whacker. It's deep enough there at the moment, to be fair.
Yeah, in theory it's deep.
In terms of it's open.
Yeah.
And you've got decent horses, to be fair. Like the real whacker, I didn't really like him last year, and I wouldn't be that gone on him again either, to be honest. But he won an RSA at the end of the day.
Yeah. Oh, he did. Yeah. I like he was 33s there a couple of weeks ago, and it was a good price if you were told he was definitely going. Sure, it depends if he's let dictate from the front. He'd have a chance. He's a lovely jumper. He gets into a really nice rhythm, usually jumping. So if he was let dictate from the front, he'd have a great chance. But I don't know. There was actually one interesting one, and I can't see him running it. But Edwardstone, Jesus, if you said you'd even a half suspicion he'd stay 3 miles, you'd nearly run him in it, because Kempton speed track, he probably needs further than 2 these days. He'd get 2.5 anyway. You wouldn't if you rode him cold, he could come with a late run. He's a big price, but I doubt he's going to run in it. But he'd be an interesting one if he did. I don't think the track could suit Jerry Cologne. The long straight is probably a help. That it's just jump straight and there's no turning, just get them and jump them But yeah, I could see him being tapped for toe a small bit. But then he went to Aintree last year and he was really ultra impressive. I know he didn't beat a great quality of horse over there, but Braun was still Braun was second, third in the RSA, and he kicked Braun out of sight that day. I don't know. It surely won't suit. Geez, if he wins at Kempton, I don't think he'd be beaten in the Gold Cup. I think, it's this sort of remember Don Cossack, he fell at the last or the second last. He probably wasn't stopping that day. He probably, I don't know, would he have won it? He'd have stayed on. But it's sort of like that, he ran such a good race there. and backed it up and won the Gold Cup. I think Jerry could be a similar type as that, maybe, that if he wins at Kempton, he's nearly unopposable in Cheltenham, I think.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is actually a lot of these, if we're looking down at him, there's a lot of negatives towards him. Like Jerry Colombe there, negative in terms of the trip and the track, mainly really the quick track. Braveman's game, clear negatives there. Bet the last twice this season. Allaho, how has he come out of that race?
Is Allaho even going to go? Like, will Allaho go?
No idea. I
suppose they're Brits. Maybe they want him there on the day. Maybe they'll go to Kempton. I don't know where in England they live.
Shishkin has question marks. Lampress, Royal Pagaille, away from Haydock. The real whacker, I can see what you're saying. If Shishkin goes okay over hurdles, and if Nicky is saying that he's happy with where he is, I'd probably chance Shishkin. But there's too many ifs and buts about it at the moment to be taken 8-1 and even 11-2 in places. But long term, Shishkin will probably be the one that I'd be looking at there, Killian.
Fair enough.
Moving back to Leopardstown, then we've the future champions Novice Hurdle. Over 2 mile down memory lane, top of the market. 4-1. Firefox 4-5-1. Very impressive last weekend in beating Ballyburn. It's for me, Daddy Longlegs, who a nice few people have been speaking about as well, is there at 6-1. And Farron Glory, Killian, our Grade 1 winner from last weekend at Fairyhouse in the Royal Bond, is 8-1. What do you make of this market?
Yeah, it's hard to know. I would have thought down memory lane would have gone to the Royal Bond off the back of winning at Down Royal. I was a bit surprised he wasn't. So you'd assume he goes here. Firefox, hard to know. Like, he definitely needs stepping up in trip, but will he chance him at 2 miles of Christmas and step up again? Maybe for a Ballymore or something. It's for me and Daddy Longlegs then, like, 2 impressive Willie Maiden winners. Sure, he'll probably run the 2 of them because there's nowhere else to go. I could see Ballyburn going to the Lawlers maybe.
Okay.
Farron Glory probably needs stepping up in trip as well. Maybe, I don't know, it's a bit soon to go from the Royal Bond to this. I'm not sure. But like, would you chance Daddy Longlegs if he ran in it? Maybe, I don't know. He was very impressive. He kicked Irish Panther aside, and Irish Panther has formed tying in with Farron Glory, who won a Grade 1. I don't know. Firefox probably needs stepping up in trip. His Daddy Longlegs, maybe as a speedier horse. It's for me was impressive too. It's tricky, like, to know.
Yeah,
who's going to run.
Really, with whoever is going to run, it's a market that whoever you pick, if you can get the winner of it on the day, you're going to have a decent price, I think, because it looks as if it's going to be relatively open. If you think back to last year, Fast Vega was a very sharp price.
Yeah,
you're not going to have something like that here this year. So I'd nearly wait for jockey bookings, wait for declarations, the whole lot, and then make a more informed decision.
If Brighter Days Ahead ran, I'd back her. I'd say she'd nearly fucking win it.
Would you?
Yeah, I think she's an absolute weapon. Like, yeah. And and like Ashro Diamond ran in this last year.
16-1, yeah, 16-1, yeah.
Ashro Diamond ran in this last year. I don't know if Gordon has any plans to run her against Geldings. Like, I presume he doesn't. But
yeah,
I think she'd take a fair bit of stop, and she was savage in Down Royal, really. Like, and she's such an engine, and I don't know, a bit that.
Well, I think taking into account that he's more than likely probably going to run Firefox.
Yeah.
Is he going to run Brighter Days Ahead?
I wouldn't think so, no.
Yeah.
And Down Memory Lane is his as well, but that's a JP horse, so it's, the Woodjack wouldn't be on
that. The Welsh National then at Chepstow. If you were listening to our last podcast, we were saying one of the lads, Glenn, has the winner this the last 4 or 5 years from throwing 2, maybe 3 darts max at it. He's a great record in the race, and we will get you his views on it in due course. But our views on it for the time being, Killian, I'd be looking at the big breakaway. He was second in it last year, off 146. He's 145 rated now. He was bet a little over length. You really need a big, slow horse, that'll go in the ground. It's a very unique sort of test. There's not too many races like it. in the racing calendar, 3 miles 6 over heavy ground. We often see horses go well in it year on year. The Big Breakaway is still a relatively young horse, and possibly still improving. So I think at 12 to 1, I think it's a very fair bet. What did he go off in it last year? 12 to 1 as well. He'll definitely be shorter than that this year after showing he liking for the test. He'll definitely go off shorter, and I quite like him. 148 rated last year, 147 this year is what it is actually. I'll just correct myself on that. But what did you like yourself, Killian?
Yeah, I actually backed this horse in the race last year, the Galloping Bear. I think he fell at the third or fourth last. He's an interesting horse. Like he was well supported last year, went off 11 to 2. Obviously fell. Next run then was at Newcastle over 4 miles and a furlong and a half. I think he was beaten by Kitty's Light and the Eder, which is a real stamina test. It was on good ground that day, good to soft, and then he pulled up in the Midlands National in Uttoxeter, and the jockey said that day it wasn't soft enough. Like it was fairly soft that day, I thought, in Uttoxeter. So if he's saying it wasn't soft enough, like it's going to be, hopefully we get bottomless below in Chepstow, and I'm sure he'd have a serious chance. He's actually running tomorrow, or well today, as this comes out, in Haydock in a veterans chase. Brian Hughes is riding him. He's 11 to 2. Hopefully that'll be a nice pipe opener for it now. You wouldn't like to see him get too close. He's off the back of wind surgery as well. I know wind surgery, they say what it just normally takes the second run is it to get it right,
Yeah,
like maybe.
so they say.
Yeah. I think that could be a pure cliche now, but yeah, I think he's 14 or 16 to 1. And then Monbeg Genius from the 10 to follow as well, sure. Like that, the reason he was in the 10 to follow was predominantly the Welsh National. He's 3 out of 3 at Chepstow. He's 6 to 1. Sure, you couldn't back him at 6 to 1 Antepost for fear he doesn't show up. You're sure you couldn't get shorter than 4 to 1 the day in the slab. Like.
No, yeah, possibly. No, it's not a bad shout. There's one other horse, Killian, that I like there is Dunboyne. Just looking at him there, he's only ever won 2 races, both on heavy ground, won at Thurles and Maiden Hurdle, and then a handicap chase at Goran last season, off a rating of 123. He was second at Goran then as well in the Tiestes handicap, beating a short head by Carefully Selected off 133, again on soft to heavy ground that was. But he's gone well at Navan too. I know the big dog won the Tri-Town at Navan last year and then was third at this race. Dunboyne was fourth in that race at Navan this year, and I just think that possibly there's a bit of blue about him there, an odds checker. Maybe this is the intended target, and he's one that I definitely give a chance to on that ground. It's ground that he loves. Maybe will come up just a small bit short, but definitely one to keep an eye on. Are you happy to move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Belt away.
Right, so Killian, we'll move on to the Jack the Bromhead Christmas Hurdle, and one that I really like here is Home by the Lee. He won this here last year. Wait, no, I'll start again. I was looking for it. Right, Killian, we'll move on to the Jack the Bromhead Christmas Hurdle, and there's one that I really like here, Home by the Lee. I thought that run at Navan the last day where he was third over a trip too short for him, given £9 to Bob Ollinger and Zanahir, was particularly impressive. Over 2 mile 4, he'll be seen to much better effect over 3 miles. Obviously gave £9 to them, was bet 5 lengths. I thought that was a quite impressive pipe opener for him. It'll leave him spot on, and I think at 9 to 4, I don't know if you get any better than that on the day. To be honest, like if you're looking at the market there, Irish 0.7 to 2. Will he go? Can he see out 3 miles? I think Home by the Lee is more of a sort of a big bastard of a horse, really. And like Irish Point could nearly have a small bit too much class, for a race like this. It was over a shorter trip now, fair enough. Again, is he going there? Sir Gerhard, I wouldn't be particularly worried about him. He's a bit of a pig. Absolute Notions would have a lot to find. Monkfish, you're down to Monkfish then and a steering for lunge. Like, they haven't been seen yet this year.
Yeah.
What sort of order are they going to be in? And Buddy One then after that, like Home by the Lee will take all the beating, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Now, I think Irish Point to get 3 miles standing on his head, like,
You reckon?
no problem at all. But I don't know, is he going to go to it? Buddy One, I'd have backed him if he skipped the Hatton's Grace for 100%. With, like, without a shadow of a doubt, I'd be putting up Buddy One right now if he hadn't ran the Hatton's Grace. I just thought it was a needless run over a trip that was too short. I thought this was a very winnable race.
Yeah,
and like, maybe he just loves racing and he can come out in 3 weeks' time again and give it a fair shot. But I'd have a bit of reservations. It was a poor enough run there the last day out. I know it was in a grade 1 against like 2 very good horses, but like he's tailed off there. Zanahiyr made the running and Buddy One still finished behind him. He couldn't get past Zanahiyr. Like, I know he wasn't given a hard ride for a finish, like, but when his chance was gone, he was just eased off. But yeah, I'd be all over him if he hadn't ran there. Yeah, I think Home by the Lee, providing Irish Point doesn't run, is nearly bomb proof. Yeah.
He'd be, if I was to, he'd probably be my nap the whole Christmas, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd be that sweet on him. And actually, if you're moving on then to the Faugheen Chase on the same day, Thursday the 28th of December, Gaelic Warrior is, and then we'll put the prices up on screen there, like he's 2-5 with Sky Bet, 2-1 on Paddy Power. He's 6-4 on with Bet365. And I think that's an unbelievable price because he goes off at least 2-1 on the day, I'd imagine. Like, found a 50, an American Mike, he should be taken care of relatively easily. Corbett's Cross, maybe definitely maybe a bit more trickier. Facile Vega won't turn up. I think that 4-6 is an unbelievable price. And actually, coincidentally, that 4-6 available with Bet365, their best price on it, their best price on Home by the Lee as well at 9-4. That'd be the double.
What the double paying?
9-4 and 4-6. We'll see if it'll come up here now for me. I have it open in 2 different tabs. It will indeed. 4.43-1.
Yeah.
Great double.
Yeah. And
great double.
You can put in the horse and the Matheson as well in that if you want. We'll come to that in a minute. Statement.
Okay. Oh, statement. Yeah.
We'll circle back.
We'll come to that. I'll leave him in the betting slip.
Do, yeah.
Do you have anything else to add to the Faugheen Chase, Killian?
No, yeah, Gaelic Warrior will win it. Yeah, I think if you were looking to try and be smart and back in something at a price, don't bother. Don't try and be smart. Just back him at 4-6 now.
Yeah.
Again, only an injury will stop him from running and winning this race.
Yeah. The Savills Chase, Killian, is looking hot enough, fast or slow, 3-1. Galloping the Shaws, don't know if he'll go. 4-1. Jerry Colombe should be going to Kempton. 9-2. Gentleman's Game should be here. Allaho and Vialan goes down a bit, but what do you reckon?
The Big Grey.
The Big Grey.
Like, you didn't even need to ask me that. Like,
no.
Yeah. He's just going to win it, like, isn't he? I think he will, and he'll put a right stamp on the Gold Cup market then. Fast or slow, if he turns up, it'll be very hard to beat. He's like, again, he showed there the last day that Bromhead wasn't a fluke. And over 3 miles on a track like Leopardstown, it could really suit him. I have reservations over him over 3 mile 2 in Cheltenham, but again, I think Leopardstown, he could be very difficult to beat. Gallopin won't be there. Jerry won't be there. Don't know if Allaho's alive or not. Invialan will run, but you're like, are we going to see the Goran Invialan or the King George Invialan last year, or will we see the Invialan that's running down Royal the last 2 years, or the Ryanair Invialan? See, you don't know what's going to show up.
Yeah.
The Plutard will be there, and I go with the Grey.
Yeah, and just as you mentioned, a Plutard, he's one that if you don't mind forgiving horses, at 12-1 there, well, who's that with now? Never mind that. You only bet
11-1, 10-1.
10-1, 11-1 is what he is. Considering there's a lot of horses between him and the top of the market who won't be going He's shown that he does like Leopardstown. It's a kind of race that will suit him, obviously. So if you wanted an each way bet, I reckon that's probably a fair one at the moment, considering there's a nice few between him and the top of the market who won't be
Yeah.
turning up.
And I'll tell you what's more. If Henry could get him back, right, he's 66 to 1 for the Gold Cup. Like, I'd say there's probably 10 or 15 horses ahead of him in the betting for the Gold Cup, and he's better than 12 of them, like, do you know?
Yeah,
Like,
if he's back, yeah.
I'd be adamant on that. If he could get him back, like last year was a complete write-off. Like, at the end of the day, he did a disaster in Haydock. He actually travelled well in the Gold Cup until the horse came down in front of him and just completely put him out of the race. She pulled him up. Aintree didn't probably go to plan, but if and there's no better man at getting horses back too. Like, he's got Bob Ollinger back. He's got Invoy Allen back from the brink when lads said he was completely finished. I'm sure a lot of people have written off a Plutard as well. And there's no better man to get these horses back. And if he does, he could be dangerous.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's a fair point. At 66 to 1, he definitely is too big considering that he has the class. But that's a very good spot. And possibly worth a very small bet each way. So, Killian, moving on then to the Neville Hotel's Novice Chase betting. You can guess what one I'd be going for here. Flooring Porter. 6 to 1 at the moment. Best price at Bet365. I think the run in the Florida Pearl, where he was third, bet by 2 horses who aren't as good as him, was actually quite impressive. All things considered, how the race panned out, how he wasn't happy going right-handed. There was a loose horse there, upsides him, just denying him throughout the whole thing, to still be in with a chance 2 fences from home. I think you put him going back left-handed, he'd be much happier. And I think he's a very good bet. Now, do I think he's a very good bet at 6 to 1 at this stage? Probably not. It's a very open race. There's a lot of horses there at similar prices. Sander Clegane, Factor File, Grange Clara West, Manila Cocooner, American Mike Won't Come, and then, of course, the top of the market, Classical Dream. I don't think there's a need to get in at 5 or 6 to 1, unlike some of the other horses we spoke about. But he'd be my winner.
Yeah, it could be a relatively small field again for this. He might be able to try and dominate from the front in a small field, perhaps. If Grange Clerk West runs, he won't get it all his own way. I think Classical Dream will win it if he runs against everything that's I can see in front of me here. Fact to File would be interesting, going up to 3 miles. No, I won't back Flooring Porter anyway. No, not in a grade 1.
Yeah, Classical Dream is not a horse you can rely on. As far as I'm concerned, he's too in and out, and I'd easily pass him over, to be honest. And if he went and they won, so be it. I'd be happy with the decision I made. Okay, Killian, a final race that we need to speak about that's priced up is the Matheson Hurdle. Top of the market, State Man 6 to 4 on, Empire Passe 5 to 2, Echoes in Rain 9 to 1. You mentioned about making my double into a treble earlier on in the podcast. I presume that's the State Man at the top of the betting.
Yeah, State Man. Add him in. What does it give us?
When we add him in, actually, he's best priced with Bet365. Again, he's 2 to 1 on with Paddy Power, but 6 to 4 on with Bet365. Yeah. So with Bet365, our treble is paying 8.06 to 1.
And if Bet365, if you're listening, we will take on you as sponsor if you want. If you have a few pound left over from Jennings and Deneen, we'll take the rest. We'll give you plenty of plugs there this evening now on the treble, but we will rinse you on the treble too. And if everyone here had a grand each in it, you'd have a nice Christmas if you collected $8,000 on the 29th. Wouldn't you? You'd
have a savage Christmas.
Yeah. Well, you'd have a good Christmas be over that stage. You're a savage New Year.
You're gone very big with the steak there now.
Yeah, maybe 500. Yeah, if you'd 500 quid on it though, you'd be in a good space.
Well, like it's 8.06 to 1 with Bet365, 6 to 1 with Sky Bet, 5.75 to 1 with Paddy Power.
Yeah, pure dirt.
The value is there.
And 5 only. Yes, sponsor us.
See, the thing is, I suppose we never as we were all off Unibet there earlier on in the show. We'd only ever talk about prices there in the big firms. So I don't feel bad about claiming the 8-1 on this, because Bet365 is probably the biggest of a lot of them, and they're going to sponsor us.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, they are, yeah.
but
Hold on,
eight-
the phone is
eight-
ringing. The phone is ringing here. I'll answer afterwards.
Denise.
Denise is looking for me.
Yeah, but 8-1. That's your treble.
That's your treble, yeah.
And that's probably all from us, Killian, is it?
I'd say it is, yeah.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed listening to it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. You can click the button there in the bottom corner of the screen. And we may or may not be back with a preview show for this weekend's race, and we'll see how we're going. That's our second show now this week. So we'll see how we're going. We'll certainly be back next Monday. We might be back Friday morning. But until then, lads, that's all from us. Thanks very much.
Ciao.
It's Honeysuckle